Hi, Gil from Testing Gil here. And today I want to talk about the T in SFDIPOT, time. If you haven't watched the primer on SFDIPOT, which is a testing strategy heuristic, you can find it here. Time. When you think about it, time relates to data and functionality and operations and everything else. That's why it's got a very special place in SFDIPOT. Time is not just about time, hours, and dates. It's about speed, concurrency, frequency. Especially today, when applications are mostly distributed, we're interested in what happens when we have timeouts, or concurrent operations, or long-running operations. The last one is interesting, but unless you are a hardware engineer or someone with experience with reliability testing, these are not the things that will pop into your mind while you're thinking about cases. But we'll get to that later. In our Bigger Better bookstore app, I can buy a book. I did it, I tested it, it works. Functionality doesn't change, therefore it will work forever, right? Well, what if a million people try to do this at the same time? Obviously, load situations are interesting. But concurrency is not just about the load or handling of it. Think about what happens when the last book gets bought. Who gets it? Is there a queue? By the way, here's an automation perspective. Is the process reproducible? Meaning, if we set up everything the same way, will we get the same expected results every time? Or maybe it's governed by speed, which can change every time. Okay, here's another case. When there are 10 copies left, users should see a warning on the screen saying there are 10 copies left. In our million cases of everybody's trying to buy this book at the same time, who gets this message? And when? Timely notifications are important. We'd like to see these notifications when they matter, and not see them when they don't, when it's too late. There are other application-specific timely issues like this one. For example, when a book is about to come out, we want to notify the people that it's going to come out. And when it does come out, we want to let people be able to buy it. This also means that they can't buy it before it's coming out. If you recall from the operations video, which you can see right here, we said that APIs like buy a book can be called by anyone. Well, if we're thinking about time, we should remember that they can be called anytime, multiple times, and in any order. So, if we try to buy a book before it's out, we expect a different result than after it releases. Dates and times can be not just application-specific. There are external things that can impact the way our software works. There are always the funny dates like February 29th or daylight saving time. Sometimes the functionality can change temporarily, like in our Bigger Better bookstore buying binge or sale. It's temporary, but not very short. Of course, things get more interesting around the edges where the sale ends. And I bet you thought that all this is happening in one time zone, right? Well, you can order the book in one time zone, you review it in another one, and make the payment in a third one. What does the order history screen look like then? Remember the long-running operation I talked about at the beginning? What if you start to buy a book, make the order, but don't put in the payment details yet? Then you go out on a vacation, irresponsibly not closing the windows or the transactions. What happens then? If we open our mind to time-related operations and situations, we can come up with a lot of ideas of asking and learning how the system works. Cases that we won't think of if we just focus on functionality. That's why time deserves a special place. And that's the T in SFDIPOT. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, like, subscribe, and watch other videos on the channel. And in the comments, and only if you've got time, tell me about time issues that you thought about that saved the day. Until next time, bye-bye.